Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from beautiful Maharashtra, this is Wisdom of the Sages, your daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and his good friend and co-host, Krishna. Welcome to the show. Studying the ancient book of yoga, Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses of fantastic stories, practical, real-time, good advice, how to move in this world, information on the soul, on reincarnation, on healthy boundaries in this life, as well as it's a good read and you really want to understand yoga philosophy. We're trying to create a gold standard of where you can turn to. It's because of Kaustubha Prabhu and my passion to study this stuff when we were younger as monks and then later in our life as yoga teachers. So welcome to the show. We have a big group on Zoom today, 67 today, as well as they're live. If you'd like to join live on Zoom, you can email Mara, our executive producer, at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Also with us is our group of yoga students here who are doing our Super Soul trainings. We have our trainings every January in India. One is a 300-hour Bhakti cultural immersion, yoga 300-hour teacher training, as well as sacred literature in India, which is also goes along parallel to that training, and a music academy where we study kirtan. We learn harmonium, adding harmonium. Yoga teachers use it to add harmonium to the yoga classes. What we really want to do is a one-stop shop here for deepening our appreciation of yoga culture and the understanding behind what's all this up dog, down dog stuff about and where we going with it anyway. And so that's where we're at today. And we're at a great place in this book, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which January 1st, we started from the beginning. Even though this class has been going since last February, we are started over January 1st. You can listen to all the back episodes, and if you like them, go to your Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or YouTube or Spotify and give us a 5-star review and tell us how damn wonderful we are.
And subscribe.
That
makes a big difference.
And hit that bell on YouTube and you get a little alarm. You hit that little bell. You know, that annoying bell alarm that goes off when you're in the middle of a conversation. Bang! That's us. That'll be us. So we always start with this mantra, which is an appreciation for the Bhagavatam. It's in the Bhagavatam itself. And if you don't know it, we're going to post it soon for you. But not today. You can just hear and appreciate the beautiful prayers and appreciations for the great teachers who came before us. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tojayam mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloki bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. As a prayer to our teachers, we say, Om Agyanat Murandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Madatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Anything you want to share, Kaustubha? Want to give some backstory?
Maybe not today. You know, I'm eager to dive into these verses, but these are just good, solid verses about, like, what is the self? What is the body? What is the mind? Very fundamental knowledge. That's the foundation of what it means to practice yoga. Without this knowledge, you're not, you know, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but you're really not practicing yoga if you're not understanding that I'm a soul, I'm spirit, aham brahmasmi, I'm not my body. And that the goal is to transcend the body and to become free of the attachments within the mind. And
which is pretty
Fundamental? What?
I love when I'm trying to talk and a word just doesn't come out. It's pretty amazing since it's sort of like I'm in this body, I'm doing these, did chaturanga, I did up dog, did a back bend, dropping back to a back bend, doing a handstand, getting stronger, getting fit, losing weight, sweating, hot yoga. My point is, it seems to be all about the body. Now you're telling me it's not the body? It seems like I practice yoga, I start to think I'm in the body. So the idea you're saying is actually quite profound. That was the word I was looking for.
It's about controlling the body, and then ultimately it's about yoga is really about controlling the mind.
Really about controlling the mind.
It's really about controlling the mind.
And when I control the mind, when I shift the mind, I shift my entire view of the world, isn't it?
Okay, I got one for you. You ready, Raghu?
Yeah. I thought there was a new rule in the show. No Raghu on the hot seat. Wasn't that the new rule?
No, I'm not going to put you on the hot seat.
Yesterday?
This is like a T-shirt, whatever kind of thing.
Okay, you got a T-shirt for me?
Well,
Words
I don't know. You're
phrases.
picky when it comes to the T-shirt thing, so I'm going to try.
Okay, go.
It may be too long.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You don't like ones that
This is where Kostuba goes south when he picks T-shirt designs without my consultation, so he's consulting here. Go ahead, please.
Yoga is not so much about moving beautifully. It's about thinking beautifully. How do you like that?
All right, I think that's
or maybe it would be better to put it at the end, like yoga is not so much about beautiful movement, it's about beautiful thinking, something like that.
Okay, we're gonna take that home, work on it. I think you're onto something.
Okay.
I think it's at least a mug. I think we can make a mug out of that, or a baseball cap.
Okay,
baseball cap. Maybe too small, too big for a baseball cap.
Make a mug out of it.
3/4 baseball shirt down the sleeve. Yoga is not a blah, it's a blah, blah, blah.
Put it on the back.
Sleeve.
Maybe half of it on the front and half of it on the back.
Yeah, and they got to circle you just to read your shirt. What does it say on the back? Because it's going to go ... They're going, who's this guy following me? Okay. Yeah.
Right.
It seems to be about the
It's
body.
about how we think.
And as yoga teachers, the important thing is to understand this bigger picture of stuff. Are you trying to freak me out? Tom's holding that block. You need what? Am I? I'm syncing. How about this? My computer on the block. There we go. It's okay. There we go. Lost my train of thought.
So it's about yoga. It's about how we think. Right. And so now these verses will help us think more clearly.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Yes. That's exactly what it was.
Okay. 33, Prabhu?
Please.
Okay. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self at that time, he sees himself as well as the Lord. Let me read that again.
Let's fix your computer and then let's read that again.
Take a deep breath. Ready? Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time, he sees himself as well as the Lord.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead why don't we define gross and subtle bodies? Why don't we start there?
Okay.
You want to?
You go. You're wise.
You too. But if you order me, I will go.
I order you. I order you.
So here, gross doesn't mean like the way that we usually use the term, like something disgusting. Gross is speaking about something that's very tangible, as opposed to something that's subtle. Something that gross is like tangible. So when we speak of the gross body, we mean that physical body that we can touch. And by subtle body, it means the mind, or in Sanskrit we say the chitta, and that chitta is divided into three, which is the manas, which is the impulsive mind, the ahankara, which is the ego, and the buddhi, which is the reasoning or the intelligence. So these...
why don't you just explain them? Explain each one of them.
Okay, we can do it. Why not?
It's a good show for that.
Why not? Okay, good. Well, let's go there. So the idea is that the mind is like a computer. We may have spoken about this before, but it's being programmed by what our camera that we connect to the computer is the
eye.
The eyes. And
scream it out, people. Ready? He's going to quiz us.
The microphone that's connected to the computer is the ears. They take in the sound, right? And then if we attach a speaker to it, that would be the mouth or the voice, etc. So all of the senses and in the yogic teachings, there are not just 5 senses, there's 10. There's the knowledge acquiring senses, which are the senses that we generally think of, but there's also the senses of action, including the voice. So the mind is like a computer, and it's being programmed by what comes in, what's being downloaded through the eyes, through the ears. And it's creating what's called samskaras. Samskaras are impressions in the mind, or the downloaded information within the mind. And then the mind is going to process that and store that information. And it has these 3 different ways of working, you could say, 3 different departments if you want. One is called the impulsive mind, or the manas. And by impulsive, what I mean is when we see something or hear something, but let's say we see something, instantly the mind's going to react impulsively without reasoning. And we could say that it reacts one of 2 ways. It's attracted or it's repulsed. It likes it or it doesn't like it.
That's all it does, really. It's just good, bad.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with, we're not going to stop and think about it. It has nothing to do with thinking. It's just like a computer could be programmed to respond to a stimulus in a certain way.
You can't do a maybe?
There's no maybe there. It likes it, it doesn't like it.
Someone comes in the room, maybe. He doesn't do that.
Well, they'll say that even it's a little bit on one side of the fence or the other.
Okay, yeah, okay. It leans, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that becomes crucial, because the idea is that essentially what that manas is it's telling us this is going to make us happy and this won't make us happy. Right? You look at something and the mind is saying you'll find happiness there or you won't find happiness there. And actually it's just an illusion. It's just the way that it's been programmed. There's no truth to it. Where does happiness come from?
It's created in the mind.
But where does true happiness reside?
It comes from the soul.
The soul by nature is happy. And it's called the nature of the soul is sat, chit, and ananda. That it's eternal.
The very default.
The very default. What the soul is made
The default of what you actually are. Here we go.
Yes.
Ready? You want to know what you are? You're a jerk. No, you're not a jerk. You're worthless. No, you're not worthless. Whatever you've been labeled your whole life. Sometimes we take that on, right? You get called something when you're a kid. I take it on. It becomes part of my identity. It keeps me on a therapist's couch for 30 years. Keeps me in a box. Screws up my choices in this life. Try this one on as the actual mirror for what you actually are and see if you like it. Kastuba, hit him.
You are sat, chit, ananda. Eternal, fixed in truth, and blissful.
You're blissful. And you're born, I add this tail onto it, and you're born to give love. You're born to give.
That has to do with the ananda or the bliss, right? Because the highest bliss is love. And the highest love is when you're giving love, even more than receiving.
Yeah. So whatever you call yourself, BTW, whatever you call yourself, try this suit of clothes on and see if it fits. See if you like it. You know, if you've been calling yourself, well, I'm an Italian American New Yorker, that's been your thing you've been wearing around, or whatever you want to label the body or the mind, or sometimes we label ourselves to our career or our position in this world or where we live. I'm a Californian or whatever it is. Try on this label, because this is the label, this concept of I'm a pure spirit soul. This is the label that will tie us all together and not create others.
Nice.
Whenever you're trying to find the roots of what you are, unless it's on a spiritual platform, you're going to create an other. You're going to build a wall instead of taking it down. What do you think of that, Kastuba?
I think break down the walls.
Break down the walls. That's what it's about, man. Everyone's going like this.
Okay. So the first part of the mind is this manas, which is just being randomly programmed. That's the crazy thing. The computer's getting hacked. And it's telling us this will make you happy and this won't.
And you know, it's interesting. It's almost like taking someone's computer that's been, borrowing someone else's, because we've been programmed for lifetimes. We're coming into this birth already programmed. We're not like a clean slate, clean etch a sketch. We've been programmed for lifetimes.
It goes back. And then in the youth, in this age, it really starts to get heavily programmed too.
Heavy program.
And so I give this example sometimes. It's a little graphic, but it's helpful, I think.
Love graphic.
Okay. I was once giving a talk on this subject in South America, in Cali, Colombia.
Cali. Famous place.
Love Cali. We got great friends there. Shama Ashram. Shout out to them. Cali, Colombia. And I said that there's some places in the world where people eat insects. It's a common thing. And they said, yes, here. And I was like, oh, okay.
Getting graphic.
Yeah.
Here they eat them in Cali, Colombia?
They do. They eat like crickets and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Fried crickets.
People are into it now. They're like, oh, they're a lot of protein.
I don't know.
It's a thing.
But there are other parts of the world where people think that very idea is totally repulsive.
Eat dogs. People eat dogs. Crickets. Dogs. They eat dogs. People eat dogs.
I've heard that. But I'm using the cricket example for a reason. There are other places in the world where if you even suggest to someone to eat a cricket, like they'll respond commonly an American, North American, if you offer, or at least say in the United States and Canada, Europeans, if you offer them a fried cricket, they'll respond by feeling instant disgust at the very idea, repulsion from the idea.
Yeah.
So why is it that so many people in one part of the world, when they see that, the mind says happiness lies there. Just like we'll walk into bodega and we'll rip open a bag of potato chips and just say, oh yeah, I feel good when I do this. This feels good. Happiness is here, right? It makes me feel good. They're thinking the same. The mind has been programmed to think, I'll feel good when I eat that cricket. Whereas someone else's mind saying, that's the worst thing. You stick that thing in my mouth. You can't pay me to do that.
Right.
Why? Is it that they have just different types of taste buds? Is chemically something going on different in their mouths?
Different programming.
Different program. Where'd that program come from?
Culture.
Culture, like specifically.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Specifically, culture, television, their parents, their friends.
Especially parents, right? Like in that case.
Parents, yeah, come on, I love you. Eat a cricket.
Yeah.
Right? I think whatever your mom feeds you, eat. She's giving you a lot of love.
I think we got
anything.
We got a name for this episode. I love you, eat a cricket.
I love you, eat a cricket. Mark that one down, Mara.
But it's true. That's the conditioning. That when we say a conditioned soul, the soul actually is not conditioned, but because it's identifying with the mind is conditioned.
Right.
And so the loving mother.
It's a set of lenses we wear, colored lenses.
Yeah. The loving mother who even as a child we can sense wants nothing but our good fortune, comes forward with, I guess, a plate of crickets. And says, here, look, they're good. And they eat them. You watch your family, you watch your siblings, you watch your neighbors.
Older brother.
And it's coding going right into the computer of the mind. Cricket is good. Cricket is food. Cricket brings happiness.
Cricket means joy. Cricket means love. My mother gave it with love.
My mother gave it with love. I'll feel good when I eat the cricket. Whereas in another part of the world, if a bug lands on your plate, what does your mother do? Throw it out, right? It's totally ruined. It's
the whole thing's ruined.
The whole thing's ruined, yeah. So that's another type of programming going right in. Now, I ask people this. I ask North American people,
And people eat people. People eat people. Right? There's people that eat people. They're still there. I'm serious. Andaman Islands, they're eating people. It's still a thing. It's legal on their island to eat people.
We got another blog or another podcast.
Potential name for a show.
Another potential podcast. Right
but yeah, people eat people. We wouldn't eat people.
Okay. No, I would not.
But that people do it. Yeah. And it's normal. It's part of their culture.
Now what about this, Raghu? If I said to you, Raghu, come on over to my home. I'm preparing a nice meal for you. It's cockroaches.
People eat them. I'm serious, right? Didn't we see that in Thailand?
Maybe the title of this episode should just be People Eat Everything.
People eat everything. But the point is, it's all subjective.
Well, this is my point.
Right? This is right.
Yeah, if I offer someone cockroaches, they're most likely going to be disgusted at the idea.
Yeah.
And if I said, what if I saute it in a little butter?
Then they're tastier, but still gross.
What if I sprinkle a little basil on there? You know?
All right, you're getting close.
Almost gotcha.
I'm Italian. What can I do? Put a little garlic on that. I'm going to eat that thing. Just kidding. I would never do it. Maybe.
But most people would still be disgusted at that point. But if I said this, now this is the point. You ready?
Don't say Parmesan. Don't go there. Don't go there, because all the Italians are like,
well, what if I say, how about some shrimp?
No, yeah.
But, well, you see, because you've been conditioned another way now. But a lot of people be like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, good shrimp.
It's called shrimp scampi, right?
Shrimp scampi. It's practically a cockroach. It's a cockroach of the sea.
It's the cockroach. You put a cockroach next to shrimp, you're looking at pretty much the same thing. Hard shell, soft white inside, beady eyes, little antenna.
Right, this is getting graphic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
right, we get the point now.
Well, do you? What's the point?
point is everything's subjective.
Yeah.
And one culture sees that a shrimp scampi is a delicacy.
Yeah.
They pay extra all-you-can-eat buffet.
It's not so different at all.
Yeah, they bring out a thing of cockroaches. We're repulsed. Not so different.
So the programming in the mind, it's just there's no truth or substance to it. A man thinks this shape of woman can give me unlimited happiness, and this one can't. You know, we're told, we're programmed what brings happiness, and we're running around searching for that happiness, following that programming, when there's no truth to it, when all along we're meant to turn within. So we were talking about that. We mentioned the manas, and we're going to talk about the ahankara.
Ahankara.
So the ahankara means the false ego. It means that there's part of the mind that creates a sense of false identity within us, ties us to identifying with the body and all that which is connected to the body, the family, the nation, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is the fascinating thing, is that we are an eternal being. We're sat, we're chit, we're ananda, we're eternal, full of wisdom, full of truth, and blissful. But we identify with a body that we pass through for just a very quick blip in time, right? I live in this body for a few years. I move on. But while I'm in this body, I'm convinced that this is me. I'm convinced that I'm male. I'm convinced that I'm female. I'm convinced of so many things that are attached to that. But
the crazy thing is, not only do I completely 100% agree with you, I'm still convinced. I'm still like thinking this is me.
Basically, the practice of yoga is just to get us over that, right? Once we get over that, we're free.
This is huge. I mean, even for a yoga teacher, just to hear that, that changes your whole teaching, right? Because you're going to end up leading your students to an inner connection where you understand this whole thing that I'm building and strengthening and sweating and detoxifying and getting acupuncture and body work. It's all to help me transcend it ultimately and not identify it with more.
All of that asana is just to get all the systems in the body flowing smooth, to get the respiratory system, to get the circulatory system, to get the digestive system, the endocrine system, all those systems, when they're flowing smooth, then the mind becomes a little bit more lucid and clear and easier to think well. Whereas, like, say our digestive system is overworked, you're stuffed, right? You stuffed yourself with food. If someone then says, let's discuss something subtle or what, it's hard because the mind's become dull. But when the digestion is all, functioning smoothly, then naturally the mind becomes more lucid and clear and so on. So asana is to get all the systems and even the subtle systems that only the yogis know about, get them all flowing nice and smooth. Then the mind becomes a little more settled, a little bit more clear. So we're walking around this world with a mind that's a manas that's telling us this will make you happy and this won't. And we're following that blindly like a slave. And it's saying you are this. This is who you are, but there's no truth to it because we're that for a split second of time and then we're something else. We're identifying with something else. Right? Then there's a third part of the mind, real important for the yogi, and called the buddhi. The buddhi means the intellect, the ability to reason. When the mana says, this will make you happy, go for it. The buddhi can say, is that really true? Is that really helpful? And if that aspect, that reasoning, that reflective part of the mind is well trained, and how do we train that well?
Immersing it in sacred literature.
Immersing it in sacred hearing, they say, right? Hearing the sacred literature, hearing it, reading it ourselves, discussing it with friends,
being inquisitive yourself,
hearing it from realized people, from great teachers. That is how that's how that reasoning, the intellect, that's how it becomes fine-tuned, strengthened. It becomes stronger. You work it out just like you work out another muscle.
There's not a lot of blind faith doesn't get you anywhere. You actually need to sharpen discernment. It's one of the reasons why we did this show as well. So you can hear and imbibe this stuff on a regular basis, not for 3 hours in a teacher training module or something. So you can hear it regularly and start to try to apply it to your life. And then all of a sudden, it becomes like real. It becomes practical. You sharpen that buddhi or that intelligence or that discernment. And as you move forward on that path with a sadhana, a regular spiritual practice, then we say, wait a second, does this make sense? And it becomes reasonable faith, not blind faith. Like, you just tell me what to do, I'll do it. It's not going to work. The tree needs roots, or when you get challenged, the tree will blow over. You'll give up everything. We need reasonable faith. And reasonable faith comes from meeting reasonable people that you think, you know what? This person, she's pretty intelligent. She's pretty wise. He's pretty deep. He's really realized. I want to hear from them. And they told me to try this, and it worked. What else does he have to say? Or
It starts to grow.
It starts to that faith starts to grow. Shraddha, or faith, happens in small increments, not big, massive. I believe it all. Buy me a robe.
Then that's interesting. You
Not gonna work.
Buy me
Not
a
gonna
what?
work. You'll get rid of that robe in a week as soon as you get challenged.
I thought you said rope. I didn't know what you're
Buy me
talking
a rope.
about.
Buy me a robe. But yeah, it's not.
So you're saying like that would be like if a tree grew real fast but didn't have any roots.
Yeah. Then every time you get challenged in this world, the tree will blow down.
Well, okay, I like that, Raghu.
Tree will blow down. You like that one?
I like that one.
Keep it. You use it.
I can keep that.
Make it better.
Thank you.
Make it better.
Take a sad song and make it better.
Yeah.
Another Beatles reference.
I remember, I can tell you, our good friend Madan Mohan.
Great person.
Me and Madan Mohan, who's another hardcore guy.
Old friend from
old
going
friend
way,
of
way
ours,
back.
and we joined the temple at the same day. We moved into an ashram. But we didn't really know each other that well. We just knew each other from the punk scene. We knew our faces. But he was always wiser than me. It's interesting when you meet people that are younger than you, but he was a few years younger, but he's just wiser. Just smarter, just more thoughtful, deeper than me. I always appreciate him. And I remember we moved in the ashram the same day, but we went our separate ways somewhere. And then we met back once, and we'd always like to check in with each other. And so it was like 8 months we've been living in ashrams or something. And I ran into him and he said something like, and I was just like frustrated. I was a monk. It's hard to be a monk in your 20s. Come on, right? It's your 20s. 20s, everyone's like out there. And it's like, keep it in, hold it in, zip it up. And it was hard. It was difficult. It was challenging. And so I looked at him. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We just looked at each other's faces wearing our orange robes. And I just said, sometimes I just want to enjoy the material world. And he looked at me and it was very beautiful what he said. I still remember. He goes, go ahead.
Let me know how it goes, is it?
Think it through.
Think it through.
Think it through. Isn't that a good one? Think it through. Think it through.
That's the buddhi.
That's the buddhi. Think it through. What is there to enjoy?
Yeah.
And don't just say, well, I'm going to do that. And then and eat this and go there. Think the whole damn thing through. Think what got you here in the first place. You already been through that. You're running east looking for sunsets. Come on.
Oh, sounds like a song, Raghu. Little country song. No, I say more.
Sunsets.
I say more like country.
Think it through. That's a great one. That's a mug. Think it through. Think the whole damn thing through, and then do it. And he said, go ahead, think it through.
So that's called buddhi. That's reflection, right? The manas is saying, go for it. The buddhi is saying, hold it, think about it.
Right.
And so for the yogi, it's that buddhi that has to become more influential, more powerful. It has to be able to control the manas. Okay, you ready for the hot seat?
Yeah.
There's a Upanishadic analogy.
I don't want to play the Upanishad game.
No, it's an analogy.
If this was Jeopardy, I'm not picking Upanishads.
You're
I'll take what is the Bhagavad Gita chapter 6.
I'll take the Krishna
for
butter
100.
story. Krishna butter story for 500, please.
I'll even take a daily double, but I'm not taking Upanishads.
No, but you know this, Raghu. You know this. There's an analogy from the Upanishads that addresses this point. Come on.
Bird and trees. 2 birds in the green tree.
Oh, come on.
I told you, I'm not doing it.
The intelligence, the driver, the
chariot. The chariot.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't use that one anymore. I try to back off Upanishadik, Upanistic analogies, and I've updated them. I say things like this. You're driving in San Francisco. You're going down a hill. You let go of the wheel. Who's driving who? The car's driving you.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
All right.
Right? It's the chariot and the horses are the senses.
So what are
And
the senses?
reins of the horses are the mind.
The manas.
The manas. The driver is the buddhi.
And the passenger?
And the passenger is
The atma.
the atma, the self.
Yeah. So if the senses are the
What do you
horse,
think about the San Francisco analogy?
well, what are the senses in that analogy?
You don't really have that. It's
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
a simpler analogy.
So what I think keep working on it, brother. You're onto something, but you're not there yet. I really like the thing about going east and looking for sunsets, though.
It's good. It's not mine, but I stole it, repurposed it. Whatever.
But the Upanishadic analogy is that the body is like a chariot. The senses are the horses. They're pulling it. And the manas is the ropes. But the intellect, the buddhi, is the driver. And if the driver is not more powerful than the senses, then that chariot will go anywhere. You can't direct it. Yoga is all about direction. It's about focus, clarity, setting the goal, focusing on the goal, achieving the goal. All right. We were monks, Raghu.
We were monks.
And part of our training was to operate on the level of the intelligence and skip over the dictation of the manas, right?
Yep.
You wake up, it's 3:00 in the morning.
You got to wake up. You got to shower, cold shower.
Or that.
Before we wake up?
Most people like to lie around in bed, right?
Never lie around in bed. It was like, get up.
Now, right?
Right? It was training up. You trained to like, just get up.
Get
like
up.
the army. It was like the army without,
Yeah.
like, I'm not getting any money in the mail now from the Hare Krishnas.
That's for sure.
Thanks for all your service. Here's a check. I'm not getting free tuition. That would be great, wouldn't it?
It would be great.
You monk at tuition. It should. It's
Well,
noble.
It might water down the quality of the monkhood out there,
Yeah,
though,
that's a
too.
good point.
So we were trained to just, you wake up immediately, you roll up your sleeping bag, you kind of wipe down the area with a damp cloth, you get up, you go into the shower. And then we're told to take cold showers, right?
Yeah, cold
was the training.
showers. Even when we lived in Philadelphia, cold showers in the winter
In the winter.
in a temple that would like run out of oil. And it was like so cold. And then we take a cold shower.
On top of it. and so, but the mind is saying, don't go cold, go hot.
The mind said go hot, yes.
But the intellect says, no, I'm going cold.
Yeah, the Buddhi
Right?
said go
So
cold.
it just starts to control, but that's going to become for yoga in general, just to practice asana. One needs to say, I know what's good for me and I'm going to do it no matter what the mind says. Yoga requires that kind of self-discipline. So, I mean, this was just a brief kind of, explanation of the manas, the ahankara, and the buddhi. But that's the computer that we're working with in this world.
It was a good explanation.
What? That was you were.
No,
you
I'm
were
just
all right?
saying what you said
Okay.
was a good explanation.
Yeah, we can go into more other days and stuff like that, or take one and go deeper into it. But that gives us an idea. That's the subtle body. The gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. The subtle body is made out of mind, intelligence, and ego. And the verse that we were reading was discussing both gross and subtle body.
I think you can't not hear this stuff enough.
So true.
You got to hear this stuff again and again. And people like to go higher. They like to dance around very high esoteric things and even argue about things that they'll even never know. This is what drives me crazy sometimes in
The super
spiritual
esoteric stuff.
circles and
Yeah.
bhakti sometimes. They go to so esoteric over the stuff they'll never know, and they can't control their senses in the first place.
And they get proud.
They get proud. I know this. I studied this, very esoteric book,
Yeah.
and I'm going to lord it over you with my wisdom.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And you've misunderstood that book, and I know what that book truly says, but you're arguing about stuff that's so beyond
That you can actually, you won't even know unless you're there. And I just say the basics are so important. What to speak of the classic things like forgive people, be kind to people, right?
kindness and simplicity.
Yeah.
Kindness and simplicity. It all comes down to that, right? We move through the world being kind. We don't get caught up in difficult relationships that disturb our mind so that we can't meditate.
Stop gossiping. Stop offending people.
Yeah. And then simplicity, not endeavoring for things that aren't important in this world or making a big deal out of things that aren't a big deal.
Be empathetic to people who are suffering,
All of that.
right?
Yeah. Then the mind will be peaceful. And then you can meditate. Then you can focus it. Then you can absorb it. And that's called yoga. That's yoga.
There we
right?
go. There we go.
Okay.
All right, Prabhu. Should we carry
Go back
on?
to that verse.
We are on text, Canto 1, chapter 8, chapter 3, rather, text 34. If the illusory energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with knowledge by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with self-realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory.
What's the glory? Satchidananda.
Satchidananda.
I'm eternal. I'm fixed in truth. I'm blissful. This is a beautiful verse.
Beautiful.
Can we read it again? Because I didn't have it
If
pulled
the
up
illusory energy, I'm one of these guys that can read something 3 times and still I'm not listening.
Let's read 34
you ever
and
read,
35
or is this
again.
just me? I
I've done that
read,
plenty
but
of
don't
times.
listen to what I'm reading. Ever do that? Like what? And someone will go, "What did you just read?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't even know."
There's a discipline in
You just
reading.
read it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's a discipline in reading that you don't read a sentence without understanding what you just read.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a good discipline.
Sometimes you just keep going because you want to get to the end of it.
Yeah, that's sad. I've read entire books like that sometimes. What was that book about? I don't know, but I finished it.
What was the last sentence about? I don't know.
It's sad, isn't it? That's a Kali Yuga mind.
That's our
Kali Yuga
mind.
intelligence.
Yeah. There's another way to read where you're not even worried about starting and ending the book. You just pick it up and read something from it and focus on it. We can do that with Bhagavatam, Open up anywhere.
Yeah, open up everywhere.
And just read it and try to imbibe the message.
Yeah.
That's powerful reading.
I think I race in my life. I race around. Gotta finish it. I got this book I gotta finish by right?
Yeah.
This is good. We're in no rush to finish this book. We're gonna finish it. But let's just try to absorb it. I'm gonna read it again because I didn't hear it.
Read 34 and 35, please, for me.
34 and 35. If the illusory energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with knowledge, by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with self-realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory.
I meant 33 and 34, but anyway, that was great.
Okay, here's 35. Thus, the learned describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even by the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart. Learned people describe the births and activities of the unborn. So Bhagavan is unborn, meaning he's eternal.
Specifically speaking about the Paramatma, the soul within us, the super soul within the body, the Lord within the heart.
Which is undiscoverable even by Vedic literatures. Means there's no amount of reading.
Learning.
There's no university. Well, I went to Harvard Divinity School.
I got a degree.
I got a PhD. Means nothing. Right? I could do all that and be arrogant. I could study the Bhagavad Gita, learn it inside out in Sanskrit. But unless I have that sweet, loving, devotional side, I could use even my Vedic study just to fluff my feathers.
There's that beautiful line in the Brahma Samhita.
Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto, right?
Yeah. Such nice poetry. Vedeshu durlabham.
Yeah, Vedeshu durlabham. It's very difficult to understand me by studying the Vedas. It seems like the opposite. I'm studying the Vedas, let's get to know you. Right? It's the opposite. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham. But it's very easy. It's not difficult by atma bhakto, meaning devotion of the self. Great verse, isn't it?
Through bhakti, yeah. Yeah, it's revealed through bhakti, through the right disposition, the devotional attitude, humility, and so on.
The other line of that verse is so beautiful.
Advaitam achyutam anandam.
Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. This person, he's the oldest person. So what does an oldest person look like? Oh, must have hair in his ears, long beard, walk with a hunchback. No. Even though he's the oldest, he's like a little boy. He's darling. He's charming.
Yovanamcha.
He's Navayovanam. He's eternally youthful and sweet and smiling, charming.
The whole thing. Advaitam achyutam anandam anantarupam. Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanamcha. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atmabhaktau. Govindamadi Purusham tamaham bhajami. A wealth of beautiful devotional poetry full of deep insights about life. Brahma Samhita.
Brahma Samhita, the song of Brahma.
You wrote a song about that too.
Wrote a song about that one. More Shelter Krishna Core trivia. Come on. The learned men describe the births Okay, we just read that.
We read that. Describe, I mean, maybe purport here too has got to be good.
Should I? Shall I? Both the Lord and the living entities are essentially all spiritual. Therefore, both of them are eternal, and neither of them has birth
Nor death.
or death. He's the Lord of the heart. I'm sorry. Where am I? Yep. Sorry. Which is undescribable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart. Oh,
What are you doing?
I'm lost. Forgive me.
Purport to 1:3:35.
Brain freeze, like when you eat ice cream too quick or ice pop. That's what just
all right.
happened.
We're still here.
Both the Lord and the living entities are essentially spiritual. Therefore, both of them are eternal, and neither of them has birth and death. The difference is that the so-called births and disappearances of the Lord are unlike those of the living beings. The Lord is the living beings who take birth and then again accept death are bound by the laws of material nature. But the so-called appearance and disappearance of the Lord are not actions of this nature, of material nature, but are demonstrations of internal potency. They are described by the sages for the purpose of self-realization. It is stated in the Gita by Krishna that his so-called birth in this material world and activities are all transcendental. And simply by meditation on such activities, one can attain realization of Brahman and thus become liberated from material bondage. There it is. In the Shrutis are the ancient literature that were spoken. Shruti means that which is heard.
The four Vedas and the Upanishads and the Vedanta Sutra.
Yeah, they were heard. In the Shrutis, it is said that the birthless appears to take birth. The Supreme has nothing to do, but because he is omnipotent, everything is performed by him naturally, as if done automatically. As a matter of fact, the appearance and disappearance of the personality of Godhead and his different activities are all confidential, even in the Vedic literatures. Yet they are displayed by the Lord to bestow mercy upon the conditioned souls. We should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord, which are meditations on Brahman, in the most convenient and palatable form.
Oh, that's so much in there, right?
Yeah.
In other words, meditating on Brahman, on the impersonal absolute, it's very difficult to meditate on that. And it's going to say that at the beginning of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asks, who's better, those that are meditating on the impersonal energy or those that meditate on your form?
This is Arjuna's question.
Arjuna's question. And Krishna's answer is, meditating on the impersonal energy is always difficult. It's always troublesome. Whereas those that meditate on my form, I become the swift deliverer for them from the ocean of birth and death.
It's not like it's wrong. It's just difficult.
It's very hard. But here when it says that when you meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, as they're told in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that it's meditating on Brahman, pure spiritual energy, but in the most convenient and palatable form.
And it's convenient. Why? Well, there's stories.
Because you're in love with that sweet baby.
Well, we love the stories. The stories catch our attention, especially in Kali Yuga when it's hard to be very deep and philosophical about things. We hear a story, little baby stole butter. I remember that story, stole the butter. The monkeys tried to, right? These stay in our mind. They attract the mind.
Beauty,
that's why
charm.
even impersonalists, if you go to holy places, like bhakti-oriented places like Ayojo or Vrindavan, even impersonalists go there just because they love the stories are charming, and they also give you Brahman realization if you want, but it gives you bhakti as well. And therefore, that's why one name for Brahman in his personal form is Krishna, means that person that is all attractive, attracts everyone.
Yeah. Krishna means all attractive.
All right. Okay, we got time for one more? She goes, if I want it. 7:04, we can go one more minute, come on. The Lord, whose activities are always spotless, is the master of the six senses and fully omnipotent with six opulences. He creates the manifested universe, maintains them, and annihilates them without being in the least affected. He is within every living being and is always independent.
There's a lot in that verse.
A lot. We might have to go
Pick
back
it up
to
tomorrow.
that one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's do
Great
that.
verse. Loving this. Loving it.
Okay. Sorry for all the disconnections, Zoomers. But thanks for everybody listening to us on podcasts. Hey, binge watch it, podcast people. Or binge hear it, I guess.
Subscribe, please.
Subscribe.
at the different
Thanks for
outlets where
joining
you'll
us.
find
We
it.
appreciate it. We try to do this every day for our benefit. And Zoomers, we love you.
Love the Zoomers. They stuck
Thanks
with
everybody
us.
who joined us late on Zoom. Everybody here better start clapping. Come on. Chris, Galaxy S10, CD. Give us some names, people. Dana K, Ariel Lim, Luke Parman, George, Mohan G. Come on.